Happy New Month, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome you to another weekly market forecast with Yemi Olaleye. I'm a market analyst at FS Pro, and this is the weekly market forecast that covers for Monday, August 3rd to Friday, August 7th, 2026. And let's go focusing on high impact news. On Monday, August 3rd, we have Canadian dollar coming up with the bank holiday all day long. That same day, we have US dollar coming up with ISM manufacturing PMI. On Tuesday, we have NZD coming up 11:45 p.m. on employment change and unemployment rate. Wednesday and Thursday, there is no high impact news at all. And on Friday, we have Canadian dollar and US dollar both coming up for employment change, unemployment rates, non-farm payroll, all around 1:30 p.m. Nigerian time. And that is the high impact news for the week, and it's going to really push the market significantly. So get ready. Quickly, let's move into the technical outlook of the business, starting with the DXY on the weekly time frame perspective. We have a weekly momentum which we projected that we're going to be seeing more buy till the price gets to around 104 psychological zone. But currently, last week we had a sell candle, and that was massive. So on the daily time frame perspective, what do we have there? On the 4 hours as well, what exactly do we have? Checking the price right here, we're looking at the price momentum that we will be seeing more buying momentum off the level that we projected since last week. And before I move forward, last week was a very good one for us in the market, in our community. We make profit of what we analyze, all the assets we talked about. Majority of them moved well, and it was a significant week with profits recorded. And this week we believe is going to be better. Okay, on the 4 hour time frame right here, we're looking at how the price is going to give us more sell momentum all the way from around 100.95 price level, and at the same time around 101.43. If you go to 1 hour time frame perspective, it's going to be the same, which is looking like this. So this is the DSY momentum and the projection for this week. Going forward, let's check that out on the Euro US dollar. Euro US dollar on the weekly time frame perspective, we're looking at more sell energy. See the price gets to somewhere around 1.1400 psychological zone, sorry, 1.1134 around that zone on weekly time frame perspective, which is a little bit more to where the current market price is, sitting around 300 to 400 pips on average. And with that, it means we can be waiting to see more bearish energy. Though for the past 6 weeks, we've been having a range on weekly time frame perspective for 6 weeks. Last week was a bullish candle, which took out the entire candles of those ranges. And on 4 hour time frame perspective, therefore, what do we have? We're still expecting more bearish momentum overall. But before then, we want to see the price completing this entire cycle of swing that's created. And we want to see the price actually getting here before we have a sell. And that's about 70 pips on average for a buy before we have more sell. This is more clearer on the 1 hour time frame perspective. When you check it out carefully, you're going to see where we have other opportunities for a little bit of buy momentum before we sell down before we sell down below. From the current market price to this level, where we're expecting the first point of interest for a buy momentum is about 90 pips down. And also around this price level at 1.387, we're also expecting a reaction of that zone because they stand for a demand level. So when we're back to 4 hour time frame, this is exactly how the chart looks like. And going forward for this week, this is my projection. Overall, expecting a buy to get here before we start selling. And when we are selling, don't forget 1 hour time zone, which gives us a little bit of buy momentum off here and off here. That is for intraday traders. So this week, I believe everybody will have an opportunity to take their own particular trades in their own direction. On the Great Britain pounds USD, therefore, on weekly, we have more of a range. But then we've been swinging over days, but it's actually been ranging for a longer time. But regardless, we're having projection for a sell energy on the weekly time frame perspective. If you go to a 4 hour time frame, there's nothing really here than what we've seen before, similarly to that of Euro USD. And I'm going to make that clearer on the 1 hour time frame. On the 1 hour time frame, therefore, on the Great Britain pounds US dollar, we have two zones we're expecting the price to react from. This is right here at around 1.3375, expecting a buy from there. Regardless of how much it buys, I'm not expecting it to be too much. Maybe probably 1:2, 1:3 of our risk management, or 1:2 somehow. If you go to 15 minutes time frame, we can actually still reframe, we can refine this, but I'm not going there. But I have two zones. This is the other zones, which is an extreme level for another buy opportunity right here. So on 4 hour time frame, this is exactly how it's going to look like. And at the same time, don't forget that on 4 hour time frame is where we're expecting the price to actually still get above it and to give us a sell momentum. So above the current market price here, we should be seeing about 100 pips forward, going forward into this level before we have some beautiful sell-off again. But regardless of how the market moves, we have a zone to work with. When the market opens, we're going to talk about this again at the beginning of the week on Monday, and it's going to be another wonderful time together. On AUD US dollar, checking out the weekly time frame perspective, we have more sell momentum, which we projected around this zone, which was about 3 weeks of range before explosive candle here. Expecting market to move down into that range before we see more buy. On the daily time frame perspective, regardless, we're not looking much into that. But on the 4 hours, we have a zone we're targeting since last week, and this zone is sitting right here, expecting the price to move into this level here. And if the price will actually be moving into this zone, it means that we should be expecting the price to get here. If the price gets here, it will be a wonderful time for us to look for more sell momentum. But let's go to the 1 hour time frame and see if we have things coming up right there. On the 1 hour time frame perspective is very easy. Look at that zone targeted purely, waiting for price to react off that zone, give us a little bit of buy, and of course, still sell forward because the higher time frame, which is the weekly, projected more sell. So we still be looking for more sell than the buy. So a brief buy, more sell, a brief buy before we continue to sell off again. So this zone will be the next level, which I'm anticipating to see the market actually sell buying from again. That will be a reaction zone of that level. So quickly we move to the next one, which is the NZD US dollar. I actually don't have much to say about this one, particularly on the daily time frame perspective. We're looking more for more buy, and on the weekly, let me just go straight to the 1 hour time frame. I think that's where we have reaction that we're looking for this week. Okay, so if we have a sell momentum about 80 pips downward, this is where we should be expecting them to come into play, and this is where we could be looking for more buy on NZD US dollar on the 1 hour time frame. However, above this level, which we have on 4 hour time frame, since we have a zone we can work with as well, which is sitting just around here, upcoming, which is sitting just around there, expecting the price to still do a little bit of buying into this level, which is about 50p. So it's not really correlating well with the Great Britain pounds US dollar, which was around 120. So I would be really careful around there, but it will really make more sense if it sells and I'm taking a buy opportunity from here. That is that on NZD US dollar going forward for this week. On the USD CAD, coming up with the weekly time frame perspective, we're still expecting more bullish momentum, expecting price to get here, which is around 1.4413. And on 4 hour time frame, not really much is happening. We've milked this guy multiple times, but honestly, if you go to 1 hour time frame, I think we could have a zone or two that we can actually work with in the nearest future. One, this is one right here, which is sitting just above the current market price, and that is where we're looking for a short opportunity, which is just above here, around 1.4092 thereabouts. We're looking for a sale right there, and this is the 1 hour time frame on USD CAD. And then overall, we still be looking for more buy. Don't forget that this is more of a buy on higher time frame, but currently we will be looking for a sell when the price gets here because we have a zone to work with around there. That is that. And on USDJPY, quickly, this one we didn't have much to do with this. It put out the entire range we expected last week, and it was a massive sell. Even though I said that in the weekly market forecast, which was not, I still said that in the midweek on Wednesday before all of these movements really happened. So for this week, what are we expecting here? On the weekly time frame perspective, expecting more by two. Yeah, looking at this, we're still very much in a bullish momentum range whereby the price can still tend to do something like this and continue buying off. But that is on weekly time frame. But if you go to 4 hour time frame, do we have any? Look at this. This is massive, right? This is really massive. Projected like it's going to sell more, regardless whether it's to sell more or not. But what we're looking at here is different. We're seeing a buy momentum in the nearest future. We have two zones we can work with. One is sitting just above here, where we can work with for a sell opportunity in the nearest future. And two, we have another zone here that we can actually still work with in the nearest future. So, which means price coming into this range will give us a little bit of more sell opportunity, and that I'm going to keep it. So, with whatever you're doing, always remember that whenever you see this kind of movement in the market, the price always go back to reclaim a little bit of it, if not all of it. And if I were you, this is what I would do. I might make my projection just look a little bit this way. So looking for a bit of sell momentum. We're looking for overall a buy on this, all right? We're looking for overall a buy, but it doesn't take away the fact that we can be seeing more sell around there because it's a supply zone and it really matters. So if I were you, I'm going to throw with that clarity going forward for this week. If I go to weekly time frame perspective on CHF, we have a whole lot going on there too, and the price is pushing. And this is absolutely telling you that look at this breakout low, and back and back and back and forth. We must look at it from that perspective that's like we're looking for more buy till the price creates some synergy and complete a cycle like this, right? But this is on weekly time frame. Overall, we're looking for buy. That is very simple. But on the 4 hour time frame perspective, let's see what we have on it. On the 4 hours, this is where I've been projecting since the beginning of last week. Even before then, the price coming here, we're seeing buy. The price coming here, we're looking for buy. That remains what I'm looking at on the price right now. So on the 1 hour time frame perspective, therefore, before we see the buy we're projecting on the 1 hour time frame perspective, it is very possible that the price move just like this. I'm coming. I want to show you what I'm saying. The price, we have two zones here too, but one is not really clear enough. One is better, and I prefer this. This one is way, way better. So I'll be working with that, and that will be my short opportunity zone for the week. And if the price is actually buying off to this level, this is where I'll be actually working to see more sell momentum. So this time around, if the price now go all the way to sell down into this range, aha, it's fine for me. And if the price is not doing that, I believe in any of this outlook, one of them is coming to play out. But most likely we're going to see the buy. Let's see the push up to this price level before we see the sell. I'll prefer it this way because I already have a zone I want to buy from, and it's like 2 weeks old now, if not more. So that is why I'm projecting that way. And honestly, whichever the market chooses to do, it's okay by me. I'm not in a hurry. Can you see the projection? Very simple. 1 hour time frame. We're selling from here. 4 hour time frame, we're buying from here. In fact, on the same 1 hour time frame, there's the opportunity to buy from here. So we are good. All right, quickly, excuse me. Great Britain pound JPY, nothing, and I have nothing to say about this guy. Great Britain pound AUD, we skip this one. Okay, we have a zone here. We're still expecting it for a buy, so nothing I want to say about it. Again, this guy is here. Wow. Well, projection was very simple. I said we're going to be buying off from this level, and I gave that projection in the group. And this is about 190 something, close to 200 pips. And I believe everyone that took that trade should have seen significant profit. For this week, I'm not really looking at this guy for now. I think we're done with this entire one. I'm not looking at this one for now. But let me see on daily time frame. Does it really worth it? Yeah, we might. This thing very much of a bullish momentum on daily time frame, but it's shifting little by little. We might have a little bit of reaction off here and see a little bit of bearish momentum. But regardless, I don't want to really pour more into this one. Let me talk about the rest of those guys before the time leaves me. Okay, so gold didn't really move away last week because of much of range. The next one hit our stop loss before moving away and all of that. But honestly, if I look at the gold on 4 hour time frame, nothing is really much for me on the 4 hour time frame on gold. But we check it on daily time frame. That is what I can do now. On daily time frame perspective, we have a momentum that looks more like we should be expecting the price to get into this zone before we see more bearish energy. On the weekly time frame perspective, we've talked about it before. We're seeing price more likely is going to break below, and we start buying again from 3,200 on the good US dollar. But so much range right here, guys. I will tell you to just keep safe. They say it's not really looking too nice, but probably on 1 hour time frame, yeah, I might see some opportunity in intraday levels whereby you can take in and out opportunities for a buy or for a sell. So that is very possible. For now, I'm not saying anything on gold. I will wait and see what the price will be opening with, and then we have a better forecast on what to do on gold particularly. So sometimes it's like that. If I look at it roughly, I would have said, okay, on daily time frame, we'll be looking for a buy before we start selling off because we have different zones, multiplying levels, layers upon layers, sitting just around here. We can see that, but come on, it's not really clear. So I'd rather wait to see more clear direction on this one. This range is kind of too much, and I'm not a scalper. So I'd rather wait and see more clarity on this before I move forward. Though, if I want to look at it on 4 hour time frame perspective, this can be looking interesting. Like we're still expecting a little bit of buy momentum before the price actually still sell again in the nearest future. So, but I will rather wait and see how the price reacts with the entire opening of the market for this week before we move on. If we sell, I want to see this level broken, and that should be the projection for this week. But let's see how it opens first. I'll talk about this again. BTC US dollar overall. I just want to look at it on a higher time frame. That makes sense for me. I'm looking more to a buy energy, okay? Looking more to buy energy, buy, to the price getting on daily time frame. We're shifting structure, yes, but outside of the bullish channel we are still very much in a bullish momentum, but we're shifting the structure, bearish momentum, looking awesome. All right. But overall, I'll be looking for more buy because right here on 4 hour time frame perspective, what we can see is the price is shifting gradually lower highs and lower lows. And with I'm going to take out this one, take out this one. I don't have time for noise. But what I have here is very simple. You see, lower highs and lower low perspective is really clearing out here. So what I'll be looking at is the market coming back to a place like this to shift again and break above and move to where we're going. If that will be the condition, then it means we're still looking for more buy overall. But if the price actually comes here and break below this level again, that means we could be actually having to look at the bearish momentum. Fundamental drives this crazy sometimes, and it's okay. So let's watch how this go. It's not a matter of being right or being wrong. It's about understanding what's going on globally, and that is exactly where the real money is. So projection remains bullish overall for this one, particularly for this week. And let's see the reaction. So this week can actually be tricky a little bit on the BTC USD, but regardless. It's fine. We have what to do. Sorry, silver. Well, nothing much here. The level I'm expecting has not really played out. You can see throughout last week, we have more of range on it. The only level we had, it has stopped loss before moving our way, which was around the 15 minutes time frame. And it was a bit painful because it was looking good. The setup was nice, but market did this thing rather. So that was it. But for this week, nothing much on that. Okay, the same thing with US 30. It is stop loss before moving our way. And I'm taking that off as well. On the daily time frame perspective on US 30, I don't even know if I have audience really trading this particularly. Not sure. But then nothing is really here for me as well. On the 4 hour time frame perspective, nothing is really looking this more of range, and nothing I want to deal with right here. So I would rather just move above this. Okay, 4 hour time frame perspective on this. I expect the level to be cleared. This gap, I expect it to be cleared. All through last week, we opened with a gap down. So we walk around the gap down all through that last week without moving into the gap level. So this week, I rather see the price. It can even still gap up. That's the funniest part. Or it can gap down, but most likely gap up because on the 1 hour time frame perspective, I think we have a zone here which I want to work with. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Now look at the 1 hour time frame perspective. So look at my structure. You see my structure is very much there on 1 hour time frame, expecting more buy till it gets here. But fundamental is a thing and you have to deal with it. So on the daily time frame perspective, though, I'm supposed to start with that. If we look at it on daily time frame perspective, we have a zone. I have to delete some of these guys. So it doesn't really confuse me. So on daily time frame perspective, we are shifting. Let's see this way. Let's see it clearer. We shifted from this level to this level. Now, if we fill this gap, we can actually still dump below. And if we're dumping below, that means somewhere around there could just be the zone we're looking for the opportunity to happen in the markets, whereby price creates something like this, and going forward. So it really depends. What's wrong with this? Sorry. Come on. Come on. Now, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to make a projection, something like this. All right. Something like this. But then if the whole conversation moves well in favor of crude oil, that means the price should still crash. The price should still crash again a little bit. So this is still very possible. We're going back to steady around $60, $62, $64. But that aside, if we're not saying that, well, price can actually be reflecting off this zone for a buy momentum. So whether it's going to sell off from there or not, we can keep that here. And that makes more sense. So this is a daily time frame perspective overall. But on 1 hour time frame for intraday traders, this is more like what we're looking at, looking for more buy to complete the entire cycle that the market has created. And for me, if you know how I trade, I wait to see the reaction in the market and give me more clarity. So it's not about being right, it's not about being wrong. It's just about understanding what the price will likely do and positioning yourself in the right direction of the market. So this is what I have. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. And this is an important information. This is based on education and it's strictly for educational purpose. Your risk management is your sole responsibility, and please take it seriously. Do your analysis, plan it, execute your plan, and I believe this week is going to be a fantastic one. If you have enjoyed this session, please kindly like, share, comment, and let somebody know about this channel. Of course, it's going to bless someone just like you. Till next time we see, have a wonderful trading week ahead of you, and it's going to be a fantastic week ahead of you. Bye for now. God bless.